Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, my dear students of third year Biopharmaceutics and Pharmacokineitics 2, Ajman University. I would like to introduce you today to a new topic, and that is pharmacokinetic of oral administration. The previous topics were mainly dealing with IV administration, and IV administration is intravascular administration. Yani we are putting the drug directly into vessels. That's why all of the doses actually reaches the systemic circulation. Here we are talking about extravascular administration. Extravascular, yani outside the vessels, which means you need absorption for the drug to get into the systemic circulation. In this process, maybe not all of the drug will reach the systemic circulation. Before we start, I will introduce you to the learning objectives, what you are supposed to be able to do. And this is very important. You're supposed to draw the scheme representing oral administration. And based on that, you need to write the differential equation for one compartment model with طبعا هنا في assumption انه عندنا we have first order absorption. طيب, what about the elimination? Elimination is also assumed to be first order. طيب, once you do this, you will be introduced to the integrated equation. Now you need to recognize this equation and the parts of the equation, and also how to use this equation, the integrated equation, in the calculation of plasma concentration. In this equation, the integrated equation, you will be introduced to parameters, important parameters defining the oral absorption, اللي هي ال Ka. هنا ال Ka is the rate of absorption constant. Rate of absorption constant. Very similar to Kel. Even the units are similar. However, Ka is for absorption, and I want you to think of Ka as the door, the size of the door through which the drug enters the systemic circulation. We used to say Kel is the size of the window through which the drug leaves. Okay, now Ka is the size of the door through which the drug enters the systemic circulation, and Kel is the size of the window through which the drug leaves. And the unit is time to the power of -1. We need to understand what is the effect of Ka and F on plasma concentration versus time curves. Okay? Type. Let's start. Here, as I told you, we are talking about extravascular administration, which means it includes a step of absorption through at least one membrane. Now, the equation that we will talk about here also applies to other extravascular administration routes. يعني why it's important here طبعا to talk about oral is the most common route of drug administration, صح? And it's extravascular. This is very important. Not only important because we are talking about oral administration, which is the most commonly used route, but also we have many other اللي هي بنحكي لها extravascular route of administration, such as intramuscular subcutaneous administration, which includes absorption. فإذا the equation that we will talk about in oral administration also applies لإيش؟ لا other extravascular routes of administration where absorption step is involved. From this point, you should sense the importance of the equations that we will talk about here. طبعا don't forget that here we are talking about ايش؟ We are talking about one oral dose administration. يعني we are not we haven't started yet talking about multiple dose administration, but you have to be aware and know that the intravenous infusion هل هو single dose administration or multiple dose intravenous infusion? In pharmacokinetics, we consider it as multiple dose administration. Again, this is very important. The IV infusion, when we deal with it in pharmacokinetics, we consider it as multiple dose administration. طب كيف ال IV infusion multiple dose؟ واحد يفهمني إياها. Someone, please explain how. تعرفوا, you know that during infusion, the drug gets inside the system slowly, صح? Over some time. Now we can consider that very small amount is being administered in a very small time. For example, let's assume the following. 1 microgram of the drug is administered every 1 second. If I'm talking about 15 minutes or 30 minutes, you can consider multiple doses have been administered. لأنه فيها ال 15 minutes there are so many seconds, صح? 15 multiplied by 60, so you can consider that we are putting very, very small doses every very, very small time interval. So we call it finite dose in a finite time. يعني إشي صغير جدا. And also you will realize this when you start your experiment in the lab. You will see that every minute you'll be going to give 1 ml of a drug, اللي هو potassium permanganate. So every minute you are giving a certain dose. Every minute you are giving a certain dose. So IV infusion, حتى في simulation you will see that you are administering multiple doses. There is an IV infusion in pharmacokinetic. When we deal with it in equations, we consider it as multiple dose administration. Okay? طيب, أما بالoral administration here we are talking about إيش? Single dose administration. And as I told you, it's very important. And to begin with, we need to think about the scheme. We want to draw a scheme that allows us to derive or to write the differential equation. طيب, الاسsumptions شو حكينا احنا? What are the assumptions? We have first order absorption و first order elimination. طيب, we have one compartment. طيب, this is the given information. Now, according to this, we can do our drawing, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay. طيب, consider the following. I'm gonna do the drawing for you, so you get to know the equation after that. Okay, let's say we here have the drug in the GIT. We will call it XG. XG is the amount of the drug in the GIT that is going inside the system through the door. Okay, this door I will call it K. طبعا, before I talk later about the other things, I want you to know that XG here represents the amount to be absorbed, صح? But also I want you to know that this amount is supposed to be is supposed to be the one that will get to the systemic circulation eventually, because don't forget that we have liver here. Okay, liver can remove some of the drug. So when I say xg talks about the amount that is remaining to get inside the system after being metabolized, after some of the dose being metabolized or destroyed, etc. Whatever going to enter, I will call it ايش xg. طبعا xg I can say xgt, يعني for example after 1 hour what is the remaining amount to get inside. Okay, so xg is an amount again. This is not concentration here, it's an amount. Okay, طبعا this is the compartment, this is one compartment that we have, and because here I'm talking about ish amount, here I need to talk about amount. Okay, and I will consider this amount to be xp. يعني ايش xp is the amount of the drug in our system or in our body after it has or after being absorbed, also at time t. طبعا ال amount of the drug in the compartment will be equal to ايش v في cp. Okay, is that clear? So amount of the drug in the ايش git, how it gets in through the door اللي هو ال Ka, rate of absorption constant, which has a unit of time to the power of -1. طيب, now what affects the amount here? طبعا how much is getting per time inside, also how much is getting outside اللي هو through ايش الشباك اللي هو KEL. And of course usually the door is much larger than the window. That's why the drug is ايش the drug concentration is able to build ايش inside, يعني able to increase inside our body. لو كان الشباك if the door is small here and the window is big, كان ايش بصير؟ there is no accumulation of the drug will leave very quickly and little drug is inside our body usually. And this is actually for most drugs, the door is much bigger than the window. Ka is much bigger than KEL. Usually if I have a drug or a formulation with Ka less than KL, usually it doesn't succeed into the market. يعني usually this product is not released into the market, usually, not always. Okay, طيب, now this is the scheme. So now here the drug is eliminated. You can say XU here for example. Okay, XU, which is the amount eliminated. Now when we write differential equation, we want to see how the concentration changes here. This is very similar to ish to IV infusion. If you remember how the concentration or the amount was changing here, it was because of input minus output. So it's very similar. Before we talk about how changes here, first let's talk about this first order process of absorption. اللي هم the amount of the drug here gets inside. How does this amount change? كيف بتغير هذا الامount؟ Okay, so if I say dxg, يعني التغير, the change in the amount of the drug in the GIT per time during, يعني the rate. خلينا نحكي, let's say the rate of change in the amount of this drug. طبعا this is first order absorption, فكيف تتوقعوا؟ it's proportional لإيش؟ to how much drug. يعني the more the drug is here, the faster the rate. كل ما كان the drug is more, the faster is the rate. فإذا it's proportionally إيش؟ proportionally to the amount of the drug remaining to be absorbed. هاي similar to ايش؟ to the rate of elimination اللي هي dCp على dt. Okay. طيب if I want to make it equal, then I have to add Ka. Okay. Now, as you know, with time this decreases. صح؟ فالاتجاه, the direction is decrease in the amount remaining to be absorbed. So I will add negative here. Is that clear? طيب, I don't want you to forget the previous differential equation اللي هي dCp على dt is equal to minus KEL في CP. So this one, هاي equation is similar to this equation. Is that clear? طبعا if you want to integrate this one, نسوي لها integration زي ما سوينا لهاي integration. شو سويناها؟ What did we do? CP تساوي CP0 في E أس minus KEL في T. صح? We can do also integration to this one if we like. That is xg equals to ايش؟ xg0 في E to the power of minus مش KEL, KA, لأنه here we have KA not KEL. Okay, we have KA. KA في T. This is the integration. طيب, who can tell me what is xg0? xg0 represent the total amount that will be entering this systemic circulation. وهذا التوتال amount, is it equal to dose؟ مشان أعطينا, we gave a dose here. هل كل الدوز will get to the systemic circulation? No, maybe some of it will be metabolized, maybe some of that will be eliminated in the feces في الستول يعني. Some of it will degrade in the GIT, etc. So what is xg0 is the F bioavailable fraction في الدوز. Okay? طيب, my question to you, طبعا if I take ln both sides, اخذ ln هاي الجهة و ln هاي الجهة, I will get straight line in similograph paper. But of course my question, are we looking at the amount of the drug in the GIT? يعني are we doing experiments where we are taking sample from GIT with time in order to look at Ka? The answer is no. طب وليش كل why all this information? All this information is just to show you or to tell you how the amount that is decreasing here will be increasing inside the systemic circulation. This is all. Okay? طيب. طبعا, of course, you already know that the drug is eliminated according to this equation. Of course, if I multiply this into V, يعني V في dCp على dt, then I have to multiply this by V as well. وبصير عندنا, we will have the change in the amount اللي هو XP, in the amount of the drug when في البادي أو في الcompartment. Is that clear? Okay, so now we know the following. The input, this is the rate of input. Will output, this is the rate of output. Then let us write the equation now after we have all this information. So let me write the equation. I will write here dxp divided by dt, differential equation, talking about change in the amount of H of the drug in the compartment is equal to V dCp على dt. Okay, نفس الشيء. I multiplied into V عشان يصير amount same as this one. It's equal to input اللي هو positive minus الاوتبوت. طيب, now let's define the input, the rate of input, because here we are talking about the rate. Rate of input is ايش؟ طبعا I'm talking here again about the amount. It's equal to KA في XG. Where is the minus? No. It's minus here, but it's here what? It's a positive. So this is the rate of input. طيب minus الاوتبوت اللي هي KEL في V في CP. This is your differential equation. If I like, I can substitute this one XG by ايش؟ XG بداله احط, I can put XG0 في E أس minus K في T if I like here. But this is the basic differential equation اللي هي الانبوت divided minus الاوتبوت. I hope this is very clear. Now, before we start talking about other things, according to this differential equation, you'll be able to visualize what is happening. يعني according to this differential equation, you should be able to know what's happening to the concentration. Okay, شوفوا what's happening in the beginning. يعني after the administration of the drug, okay, we will assume, طبعا as I told you, we have first order absorption. طبعا ممكن someone tells me what about zero order? Is it possible to have zero order absorption? Yes, it is possible, but most commonly we have first order absorption. So in the beginning, Xg is Xg0, صح? Okay, the whole amount that will be absorbed. So this is maximum in the beginning. وشو بتكون الCP? الCP in the beginning is 0. فما بيكون في, we don't have elimination and we have maximum absorption. معناته البوزيتيف is maximum in the beginning. We had a negative is 0 in the beginning, is a maximum 0. فشو بصير? What happens with time? With time this starts to decrease, and it decreases very quickly. ليش؟ لأنه ال KA is very large. صح؟ تتذكروا when I said KA is the door and usually very large compared to KEL. فإذا there is a very fast decrease in this one, causing طبعا the decrease here puts eventually it will cause, of course, decrease in the concentration, but in the beginning it's giving, because this is 0 in the beginning, and the concentration initially starts to increase. هذا initially مش بالنهاية, initially. Okay, so what you have is a drug getting into the system, وslowly شو بصير عندنا? rate of elimination is increasing. ليش؟ هذا constant, and this keeps increasing in the beginning. فإذا I have positive increase في concentration in the beginning. طيب, with time the rate of absorption decreases, rate of elimination increases until both are equal. صح؟ لما يكون when I have this rate is equal to this rate. Okay, إذا خلينا let's again. In the beginning, this is much higher than this, causing the positive to increase. يعني التركيز, the concentration will increase. طيب, as the concentration increases and absorption decreases, the two rates at one time will be إيش؟ will be the same. يعني هذا change will be 0. This time, هذا الوقت when both are the same is the peak time, اللي هي إيش؟ when the concentration reached the maximum. بيكون وقتها هذا التركيز وصل الماكسيمم. طيب, إذن let's put it in a graph. Okay, this is the graph. we have time طبعا for example hour, and we have concentration, for example microgram per ml. Okay, so we have in the end increase في concentration until we ايش we reach البيك. طب شو بصير بعدين؟ The rate of absorption keeps decreasing very quickly. Why? As again, because the door is big. So actually the amount to be absorbed will be complete in a few hours. But the concentration or the elimination is much slower process. So what will happen? This will continue decreasing to almost zero, while this will start decreasing because now the output is becoming more than the input, فبصير عندنا ايش؟ decrease. Okay, اذا شوفوا شو بصير عندنا المحصلة. What happens as a net of the two processes? First we have increase in the concentration till the peak, and then we will have ايش؟ decrease في concentration because the absorption becomes almost zero, and it becomes also less than the rate of elimination. Okay, now all this discussion I will show it to you here. This is the scheme that I talked about. The drug in the GIT getting absorbed into the system, and from the system it gets eliminated through this window with absorption through this door. Okay, this is talking about first order rate of absorption. And if I want to integrate this equation, I can get this equation. Instead of xg0 I can write f dose. Then we talked about how the change in the amount of the drug in the body, how does it happen, اللي هو v في dcp على dt, which is equal to input minus output. Okay, with this equation we were able to see what happens. شوفوا هنا في عندنا positive change في concentration is positive, which means increasing in the concentration until both input and output are equal. Okay, in this case we reach the maximum concentration. What happens after that? The dominant process is the elimination rate. فبصير عندنا change في concentration is negative and the drug concentration ايش؟ decreases. Now we need to know and recognize the integrated equation for this. بدنا نعرف integrated equation for what? For this one. What is the integrated equation? Okay, now the integrated equation for this one is the following. Cp at any time is equal to F. الF ايش حكينا هي البايو افيلابل فراكشن في الدوز في الKA اللي هو rate of absorption constant divided by V if KA ناقص KL. Okay, now this part which we consider it as constant لأنه الF في الدوز is constant والrate of absorption constant is constant والV is constant والKL is constant. This is multiplied في e to the power of minus KEL في T minus e to the power of minus KA في T. Okay, again we will see that the concentration at any time, شوفوا T وين موجودة؟ T is here and here, يعني these two are the same. إذا استخدمت 1 hour it's 1 hour here and 1 hour here. 1 hour here and 1 hour here. Okay, if I use 2 hours it's 2 hours here and 2 hours here. Okay, the KL will KA are different from each other. What you have here, let's look at it. You have F في الدوز في KA على V في KA minus KL. This is constant. Okay, multiplied by the difference between two exponents. Difference between two exponents. That's why لأنه عندنا two exponents here, we call this equation a bi-exponential equation. شو بنحكي لهي الايكويشن؟ Bi-exponential equation. إذن after an oral administration of a drug that follows one compartment model with first order absorption and first order elimination, and these are our assumption, at any time you can calculate the concentration by multiplying this constant اللي هو ال F في الدوز في KA على V في KA minus KL by the difference between two exponents. طبعا if we go back to the two exponents here, any one of these two exponents will range from 0 to 1, صح? Whether this one or this one. If we look at time 0, بدنا ناخذ extremes, time 0, يعني just as you administer the drug, this is time 0, what do you expect the concentration to be in the plasma? طبعا you don't expect anything to have or to be in the plasma لأنه still the absorption is yet to start. طيب فإذا at time 0 e to the power of 0 is 1, e to the power of 0 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, 0 into constant, this constant is 0. And that's what you expect. يعني going back to this one, you expect that at time 0 the concentration is 0, صح؟ طيب الاكستريم الثاني اللي هو time infinity, after very very long time, what do you expect to happen after very 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 long time? You expect again the concentration to approach 0, to come close to 0. طبعا it will never be theoretically, طبعا it will never be exactly 0. But e to the power of minus large number, we can consider it as 0. e to the power of minus very large number, طبعا large number because the time is infinity here, فبصير 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. 0 في الكونستانت will have will have 0 plasma concentration. That's why in the beginning and at the end we expect that there is no drug in the body or almost nothing in the body. If we look here, F في الدوز في KA أخذناهم take it together اللي هو bioavailable fraction في الدوز في rate of absorption constant, بنلاقي إنه this depends on what؟ شوفوا, it depends on the formulation, صح؟ It depends on ايش كمان؟ route of administration. route of administration. طيب ايش كمان؟ It depends on the dose. I can manipulate the dose. I can change it, double it. Okay? فإذا ال F والدوز والKA is related to dose and dosage form and route of administration, while the other constants اللي هي ال V والKL depends on ايش؟ الدراج and the patient. انتبهوا, يعني any change in these two things, whether the drug or the patient, might cause a change in V and KL اللي هم ال clearance, if you know V في KL. Okay? طيب, now we understand what is this constant about and how it is affected, and we also looked at the difference here between these two exponents. We we also call this equation as by exponential equation. إذن in the beginning and in the end, after time infinity and also at time 0, the difference is 0. But what about the time more than 0 and much less than infinity? During this we will have a difference. Let's look at a graph showing you the difference between ايش E us minus KL في T and E us minus KF في T with time. طبعا here we are just assuming that KA is much larger than KL, and I want you to look at this graph. طبعا both E to the power of minus KL في T و E to the power of minus KF في T, both of them will range from 0 to 1. متى بكونوا 1؟ at time 0. both are 1. with increase in time بيبدأ يكون في هناك ايش؟ difference زي ما انتم شايفين. بعدين the difference increases، بعدين بصير ايش difference reduces again until both are zero difference. إذا zero difference here و zero difference in the end after very long time. In between, because Ka is different from Kl, you will see that there is a difference. And I want you also to note that e to the power of minus Kft goes to 0 faster than e to the power of minus Klft, and that is because Ka is bigger than Kl. That's why this red color goes to 0 much faster. يعني عملية الابsorption ends very quickly. Okay? طيب, where is the maximum difference between the two exponents? وين نطلع وين ال difference is maximum? According to this يمكن هذا هو يكون ال maximum difference، صح؟ اللي هو بين e to the power of minus kl في t و e to the power of minus k في t, maybe at this time. هذا هو ال time. This time I will call it t peak, or I may call it T max. Okay? At this time I will have ايش؟ شوفوا هذا الديفرنس الكبير. I will have the maximum concentration. بصير عندنا CP peak CP peak or CP max. متى؟ when the difference between these two are maximum. طبعا it will never be more than 1. It will range from 0 to 1 differences here. So the biggest difference will give you ايش؟ لأنه هذا constant. So the biggest difference will give you the highest concentration, CP peak. طبعا in this one وين راح يكون CP peak? It will be in this place and at this time. اللي هو at this time. Okay? And this is the T peak and this is the peak concentration. I hope this is clear for you. Okay. The question is, how can I calculate T peak? Now T peak can be given, it can be derived, but it can be given by the following equation. T peak for an absorption of a single dose is equal to 1 divided by Ka ناقص KL multiplied by ln ال Ka divided by KL. طيب شو لاحظتوا؟ T peak depends on what? Only on two things, ال Ka وال KL. نصير نحط L هون. Only on those two things اللي هم ايش حكينا؟ ال Ka وال KL. Those does not affect T peak. Bioavailable fraction does not affect the T peak. What affects the T peak are only two constants, ال Ka وال KL. وطبعا ال KL is related to the drug and the patient. We cannot play with them. ال Ka we can play with the formulation. For example, or the route of administration in order ايش to influence the T peak. We will see this later. Okay, so let's first look at the following example. طبعا we talked about these things. The example says ايش after a dose of 600 milligram, and if Ka is equal to 1 hour to the power of minus 1 and Kl 0.15 hour to the power of minus 1 and V is 30 liters and F is 0.9. بده إياكم إيش؟ They need you to calculate what will be the maximum concentration. طب how will I calculate the maximum concentration? The first step for you to do is to calculate T peak. طب how can I calculate T peak? T peak حكينا ايش؟ equal to ايش؟ شوفوا هون 1 divided by ايش؟ شوفوا Ka هيو Ka is 1 minus 0.15 اللي هو الKL صح؟ هي تساوي. طيب now this multiplied into ln الK على KL. I will open bracket وبحكي الKA divided by KL. okay, ln تاعتها نشوف. اوكي طلع عنا 1 هنا 1.8. خلينا نشوف. ايوه اوكي so now see I divided ايش 1 divided by 1 minus 0.15 multiplied فلن ال1 ايوه شوفوهم فلن ال1 divided by 0.15 وطلع عنا الجواب 2.23 hours. اوكي 2.23 hours. طيب شو بسوي بعدين؟ after that I take this time and I substitute it في الايكويشن هون. اذا هون راح يصير عندنا T peak. These two are the same. اوكي فشو بصير عندنا what we will have؟ بصير عندنا 0.9 في 600 في 1. خلينا نسويها 0.9 multiplied في 600 اللي هو الدوز طبعا في 1 اللي هو نفس الاشي of course divided by اللي هو الفوليوم اوف distribution اللي هو 30 multiply بدي افتح قوس ثاني اللي هو ايش 1 minus 0.15 واسكر القوس مرة ثانية and this is what I will get. طيب شو هذا؟ هذا اللي هو الكونستانت اللي حكينا عليه 21.18. طيب بعدين شو اسوي؟ I multiply it by the difference between the two exponents اللي هو e to the power of minus KL multiplied في T peak ناقص e to the power of minus Ka multiplied في T peak. طيب what does it give me? It gives me ايش؟ this concentration. إذن what is the maximum concentration I will reach with the patient؟ راح اوصل maximum راح يكون 12.9. طبعا I would like this one to be effective, therapeutically effective and not toxic. Okay, يعني effective and non-toxic. طيب now consider هلا ال Ka changed. Why Ka changed? Maybe because of change in the formulation. إذا خلينا نحكي إنه ال Ka غيرناها اتغيرت because of a change in formulation. but انتبهوا ال F والدوز ما تغيروا. This is our assumption. Usually if Ka changes, F في الدوز will change. But let's consider that Ka formulation has changed, but it resulted in a change in Ka but not in F في الدوز. شوفوا شو بصير. طبعا the Ka decreased، يعني الباب اللي بدخل منه the door through which the drug enters صار smaller هلا، صار smaller دول. Okay, so what do you expect to happen؟ طيب باعتبار assuming that everything else has not changed, you will see the following: that now it takes longer time ايش to reach the peak concentration. مش بس هيك، also the peak concentration now is lower. طيب معناته ايش؟ lower peak concentration و slower يعني في عندنا delay، او خلينا نحكي let's say البيك بصير later at later time not at earlier time at later time. اذا شو تاثير ال Ka provided ال F والدوز ما غيرناهم we did not change them وال Kl are the same. In this case the lower the Ka the lower the Ka, the later is the peak concentration and the lower is this concentration. The later and the lower أو slower ممكن نحكي و lower. طيب another way to say this: the higher the Ka, the earlier is the peak concentration and the higher is this peak concentration. The higher the Ka, the earlier and the higher is the peak concentration. واضح؟ طيب to put this into a graph and look at the effect of Ka، نشوف شو تأثير ال Ka. We will assume Ka at one time 3 hour to the power of minus 1 and 0.6 hour to the power of minus 1. شوفوا ال Ka قاعد ايش؟ decreases. But assuming everything else is the same، بدنا نعتبر كل شيء تاني ايش؟ is the same. As we said the higher the Ka كل ما كان earlier و higher is Cp max. شوف كيف بيتغير، هنا صار وسط reduced، صار في عنا delay في الوقت، delay in the time of Cp max وبصير Cp max is lower. نفس الشيء here. Okay. طيب another thing I want you to note when you look at this graph time and concentration is that the area under curve has not changed. area under curve نفسها. تتذكروا do you remember what is AUC؟ AUC is equal حتى في oral administration AUC is equal F في الدوز في الكليرنس اللي هو ال V في KL. طيب هل اتغير did anything change في هذا in this graph؟ هل ال F في الدوز تغيرت؟ did it change؟ هل ال V في KL which is the clearance did it change؟ It's the same. That's why the area under curve for all of them is the same, did not change. منتبهين؟ The area under curve for the green one and the red one and the blue one are the same. متى ممكن يتغيروا؟ if only F الدوز or the clearance اللي هو the clearance related to the drug and the patient changes. Okay. طيب now we want to see what is the effect of F. Before we talk about that, look at where F is involved. وين F؟ خلينا نروح على equation. F is involved here. صح؟ يعني if you consider all this is multiplied by F معناته F has direct relationship with the concentration. What I mean to say is if F doubles Cp will double. لأنه F بس هون موجودة. If F becomes half Cp will be half. at all times في كل الأوقات. يعني for example if F is 1 and the peak concentration is 100 for example, if F becomes half شو بصير في peak concentration? Peak concentration will be half also. إذن the effect of F affects concentration at all times. إيش؟ What happens to F exactly happens to the concentration. Okay, is that clear? طب هل does it have an effect on the time to reach peak concentration? لا, it doesn't have any effect on the time to reach peak concentration. شوفوا F is not here. طيب شوفوا هون شو راح يكون ال F تأثيرها على ال AUC؟ برضه direct. If F becomes half, AUC will be half. If F becomes double, طبعا F cannot be more than 1, the absolute bioavailability cannot be more than 1. If F becomes half, AUC half. F doubles, AUC doubles. شوفوا direct relationship. Let's see it as a graph here. شوفوا عندنا F1 اللي هو البلو، F.66 اللي هو الريد، F.33 اللي هو الجرين. طيب what do you see here? You see that the peak concentrations are happening at the same time. إذا the time of peak is the same. لكن all the concentrations are proportional to the bioavailable fraction. عشان هيك مثلا for example this peak concentration here is 0.66 يعني تلتين 2/3 of the peak concentration here. نفس الشيء here, the peak concentration here is 1/3 the peak concentration here. Okay? إذا what is the effect of F? F affects the concentrations at all time and the effect is proportional to the change في F. And what is the effect of F on time, on peak time? It has no effect at all. هل إلها effect على ال AUC? Of course it has effect على ال AUC as we discussed earlier. This is a homework which I just added it today. It says a single oral dose, and this is from your textbook, approved textbook. A single oral dose of 100 milligram of an antibiotic was given to an adult male patient, 43-72 kilograms. From literature, the drug follows one compartment open model, and the equation لأنه هذا oral dose, the equation that fits this drug اللي هو هذا. طيب شو المطلوب؟ what is required اللي هو ايش؟ انه احسبوا شو هي التي ماكس وشو هي السي بي ماكس وشو الهاف لايف. In order to solve this one easily طبعا, and this is a homework, first you need to understand what is this equation. It is CP تساوي هذا ال 45 اللي هو الكونستانت اللي هو ال F في الدوز في ال KA divided by V في KA minus KL. طيب this is multiplied في E أس minus KL في T minus E أس minus KA في T. So you need to recognize what is this equation is about. ال 45 هي هذا الكونستانت اللي هون اللي هو ال F في الدوز KA divided by V على KA V في KA minus KL multiplied by the difference between the two exponents. هيك I know what is 45, I know what is 0.17. شو ال 0.17 راح يكون؟ راح يكون هو ايش؟ ال KL. طيب وشو ال 1.5؟ شو راح يكون ال 1.5؟ راح يكون ال Ka. طيب as such can you calculate T max? Yes I can. لأنه T max شو حكينا؟ It's 1 divided by Ka minus Kl multiplied ln ايش؟ ال Ka divided by Kl. إذا I can get this one. طيب إذا عرفت ال T max can you calculate the Cp max? Yes. عوضوا ال T max هون وهون. Okay. And then you can calculate Cp max. طيب can you calculate the half-life of the drug? Yes. The half-life of the drug is equal to ايش؟ 0.693 divided by KL. طب شو ال KL؟ already given here اللي هو 0.17. إذا this is how you do the calculation. I hope you enjoyed this topic. It's a very important topic. Inshallah later the other part of this one اللي هو pharmacokinetic for oral administration is to be able to understand two things. How to calculate يعني how to do an experiment to calculate Ka و ايش كمان غير ال Ka ال F, because these are two important things. ال F اللي هو تعبير على how much extent of drug reaching the systemic circulation bioavailable fraction, وال Ka اللي هو تعبير عن it talks about the how fast, والbioavailable شو تعبيرها the rate and the extent. فإذا these two parameters are important, and inshallah we'll talk about them in next topic. مع السلامة.